All righty, boob tubes, another one of Keeps Creeps. So, Monday morning, George Galloway's first day back in Parliament. I'll be honest, it's highly amusing watching the press scramble around trying to frame this. And I don't know why they're still sticking with this, because it's laughable, like our democracy is under threat. George Galloway getting elected is democracy under threat. He has an opinion his opinion is supported by 70% of the country in one of the last polls. I heard. This wasn't a mass poll, this was a British poll. So let's see how they're framing it.
Thank you. You might want to comment on this, actually, just before I let you go. Have a look at this.
There's old George there. Come on, Sky, get your act together.
How are you feeling?
This is an early shift.
How you feeling, Mr. Galloway?
Nice to see you again. I'm feeling good, thank you. The sun is shining.
What's it like to be back?
Well, I'll tell you once I've been inside. I always loved the building. The people in it, not quite so much.
Yeah, his arrival in the House of Commons, his win on Thursday, was one of the reasons why the Prime Minister made his important intervention about where our democracy is going, the challenges that's taking place.
Where our democracy is going. Yeah, we need a vote, we need a democratic vote, but only when we agree with the result.
Ability to conduct debate in public. It was a democratic vote, but now listen to how he won that.
But now listen how he what?
He plays on anger, he plays on hate, he plays on fear. He didn't offer any solutions whatsoever.
He did. He came out and spoke about he would have a one secular state. That's his solution. So he has spoke about solutions. Or is he talking about the Rochdale internal politics?
Then he's going to now bring that to the House of Commons. So he won't allow us to then advance forward. We want that ceasefire ultimately
So why did it get sabotaged? Why did the SNP's motion get sabotaged then if the people running that institution of Parliament wanted the ceasefire? Clearly, in my opinion, it was deliberately sabotaged to stop the SNP's motion of having an immediate ceasefire kicked out.
Gaza and Israel. The stepping stones to get there are important to lay out as well. But he's just going to...
They've not killed enough Gazans yet. Wait till they've killed enough Gazans, and then they might talk about a ceasefire.
I think incite division, and that isn't healthy for a democracy.
Will you sit next to...
Yeah. Well, what's healthy about we don't want a debate in democracy. We all need to be on the same fucking page. You can't have somebody democratically elected standing in Parliament who has a different point of view from the House of Parliament, but not from the people. As I said, there was a poll, 75%. I'm going to actually see if I can find it. I keep forgetting I've got the internet. When I Googles. So here's just a couple that came up, right? 76%. I was selling it short there. And this was the 10th of January. Opinion poll shows overwhelming British support for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. 76% of the citizens want a ceasefire in Gaza poll. That was on October the 20th. That's like. So this is a threat on democracy. Where the fuck was it? George Galloway saying what most public in the UK want is a threat on our democracy.
In the two rooms?
The tea rooms are conveniently distanced. One party sits with one. I'll be interested as to where he sits in the tea rooms because it's already laid out from a party perspective. I suspect we won't even see him in the tea rooms himself.
OK, you're dodging that question. Will you chat to him?
Well, you have to talk to absolutely everybody, but when I say chat...
Because Labour said that they would ignore him. Labour...
Yeah, so... What Labour are doing isn't a threat to democracy, you know, and refusing to speak to a member of Parliament who's elected. No, him getting democratically elected is a threat to democracy.
You can ignore him, or you can stand up to him. You can actually have the courage to then make your case. If you don't stand up to these people, then they continue.
So now George Galloway's turned into these people. If you don't stand up to these people, can you get the undercurrent of this?
Continue promoting their perspective, and they then could potentially win the argument. Or indeed...
There's no argument to win here, man. The people of Britain want the UK government to call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Overwhelmingly, 76%. Anyway, let's get back to the smear campaign for George Galloway.
Persuade others to support what they're thinking. That cannot be right. Good people must step forward. We must protect British democracy. It's gone through...
We must protect British democracy by refusing to speak to George Galloway. We need to stand up to these people.
A very dark chapter in the last couple of months, and that's very, very dangerous indeed. We're an exemplar around the world as to how we do things, but the last couple of months has been difficult. That's why the Prime Minister made that important intervention.
So it's great to see you, as I said. Thanks for hanging around for that. Much appreciated. Wilf is standing by for us. Hi, Wilf. I don't think he's going to have many friends in the House of Commons, if I'm honest. Maybe a handful.
Well, exactly. But I think, you know, as you rightly said, it was a democratic vote. We've got to see how things play out. I don't think it can be a given that he will incite division until we actually witness that in Parliament. And I'm sure people will give him that chance. Interesting timing-wise as well to focus as... Only very briefly, I acknowledge it wasn't the centrepiece of what he said about Tobias Ellwood there said about calling for a ceasefire, because, of course, that is something that the parties have sort of shifted their position on, and the Vice President of the United States, obviously, in a high-profile way, called for as well. So we'll see if there's actually, oddly, a little bit of consensus in the short term around that issue. But it's going to be one to watch. As you said, that was him arriving, obviously, outside of the Westminster estate moments ago. And, of course, be interesting to watch the pictures of him inside the chamber today and how all of that goes down.
It certainly will, and we'll do that with you coming up. Thanks very much, Will. Thank you. Prime Minister warned on Friday.
Okie doke. So that's a threat on our democracy. George Galloway getting democratically elected and having an opinion which is shared by 76% of the British public by some polls is a threat on democracy. They're still... they need to go back to the drawing table and figure out another way to try and attack this dude, because just saying it's a threat on democracy, it's empty and laughable. Yeah, getting democratically elected is a threat on democracy. Get it? Got it? Good. Stay tuned for more Galloway's highlights from today. Cat cheese, no cats or cheese. Only people in the House's Parliament's feelings were hurt in this film.
Clips. And remember, citizens, always subscribe. Hit the notification bell as well. And $19.95 plus shipping and handling will keep you out of hell.